Okay, my name's Christina Andrews, and I'm the chairperson of the Tohono O'odham Committee, and it is October 27th, 2012. It's my birthday today, and I'm very happy to be here because this is pretty much our first district meeting of the Tohono O'odham district. So I'm very, very happy to be here today to celebrate this accomplishment in history. One of the questions was, how did I know as Tohono O'odham? My mother traveled a lot, and we'd spend a lot of time with my grandmother, who is Tohono O'odham. She's a child. Her name is Philman Childs Bell. And I always grew up, because she always instilled in me that I was Tohono O'odham, that I was San Papago. And it was just a natural thing growing up, and that's how I knew. And she would take me with walks in the desert, because that's where she pretty much lived, in a trailer, and learn about the plants, the legends, Itoy, and the creation of how we came to be, and at the Piñacates, and where we're from, and the struggles that we had as Tohono O'odham, and that we were not native. But I knew we were native because my grandma only spoke O'odham, and she asked me as well as one time as a child, to learn how to speak O'odham. I said, Grandma, why would I ever need to know that? Because I don't live in an O'odham place. I don't congregate anywhere. I just have you in my life. And I never learned, unfortunately, but I will now. And so all my life, I've always known in my heart that's who I was. That's my identity inside, although society would say, oh, you're Mexican or something, but I'm not. I'm white and I'm native. And so with that, it's just something that I've always known that's who I was. So I seen my grandmother was one of the major people also to fight for the Tohono O'odham as well. She was one of the major key players to create a tribe, the Tohono O'odham tribe, and take it to the Ninth Circuit Court. And it actually didn't fall through because there wasn't enough O'odham people at that time. And so I saw her hard struggles. I seen her come to the land-based meetings. Those meetings, gosh, I think it was like it had to be in the 80s. When they were starting to congregate together and kind of really push hard to around the 70s, late 70s, 80s, to really try to get some land for the Tohono O'odham. The fight has always been there, and I have seen with my grandmother her fight is how I know. And so I knew in 2006 when I was the director of Health and Human, but I should also mention that I was never attached to a tribe per se, except I knew I was Tohono O'odham, but we were not a formal tribe, and we were not with the Tohono O'odham. So I knew only when I was 30 years old, and I'm today 42, I knew when I was 30 years old that I was a member of the Tohono O'odham Nation. I didn't know. I paid for my own education. I paid for my master's, my bachelor's myself, went to school because I had to, because that was just what you had to do, because you had no place to go back to. And so I knew that something told me, I was in North Carolina, and I knew something has always drawn me to come back, because I always knew I was going to help my people. I didn't know in what capacity or in what way, but I was told, it's funny, I don't know if I should share it or not, but maybe I won't, people think I'm crazy, but there's always been a burning in my heart to come help my people. So I knew that was always there, and I did, and I got accepted at UNC Chapel Hill, UNC State, and here at the U of A, and I took the U of A because of my burning passion to help my people. So I got my degrees. When I was 30 years old, I realized that I was a member here, and that's when I became the director of the EDA board, the Economic Development Authority Board, and I knew from here on, since 1999, I was with my people. 2006, I was the director of Health and Human, and at that time, that's when Floyd called me. And I was there was an actual formal board, which before there wasn't, but now I saw, okay. So I tried to be but I was on the background then. And I did little things here and there, but I was frustrated, so I left. And then there became a disbandment of the board for a year. And then somebody came to me asking to be on here. And I said, I'll try. So I tried, I got it. And at our first meeting, I was elected to be the chairperson, and here I am. And it's been a long struggle, it's been a long fight. I think it was, 2 years ago that we were formally a board. And, so on the 23rd of October, we formally, through the council, started at 9 o'clock and it got over about 1:30 that day. It was voted except for one district, it was voted that we were to become the 12th district, the Hiacha district of the Tohono O'odham Nation on that time. So although there's still forms that need to be filled and meetings that still need to be conducted to make sure we're all on the same page, that it rolls out properly, in my eyes, we are a district now. So I'm very happy about it.
So this process was started a long time ago. So what was the difference that you made in what everybody else had tried before?
Wow, that's a very, very, very interesting question. And I don't know how to really answer that in a humble way. I can't really, I don't know. I mean, in a way, it's hard for me to answer that question because I don't know what was tried before. I got a taste of it in 2006, but that was just my own experience from a snapshot of what I felt. For me, I know the system. I was a part of it for 3 years in terms of the director, so I knew the process, how things were to play. And I was fortunate in that regard. I believe that people know who I am. I think more than anything, I didn't stop. I didn't let the doors that were closed stop me. And I think for me, the key here was the positiveness. And I hope that that continues. I've experienced, a lot of bickering that can take place among our people. And for me, what's paramount is that we remain positive and that we remain open. But I feel that the key here was not letting the setbacks get to me, perseverance, persuasiveness, knowing the system, and being positive. As positive as during the times that you wouldn't be positive, I remained positive.
So what?
And also writing. Writing was a big thing, documenting things. The reports that needed to be reported, that was very important. Keeping on task, basically, was important, key.
So what's the next step into actually becoming a full-fledged,
The next step as a committee that we're tasked to do is to create a membership list and a voter registration list. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We've created forms, Hiacha transfer forms, and the nation has its own transfer form, not transfer form, but own registration form. But we're going to talk more about that today. But as a committee, we're tasked to create a voter registration list for the upcoming election that's supposed to take place around the summertime, so that a governing body is going to take this district over then at that time.
So when you approached the council, you gave them 2 resolutions. Explain those 2 resolutions.
The 2 resolutions, there actually was 1 resolution. There were 2 resolutions at the beginning, but they got combined into one. One was to create the Hiacha district, or the 12th district, and the other one was to enable the first election of the district. So now you're creating this district, and at the same time, you're enabling the first election. So you have a governing body. Now you have created it. Now it almost forces that somebody has to now take its seat there. That was the 1 resolution. But we presented the ordinance, that 1 resolution, and the election plan.
Now, describe the process that happened at the council meeting. What were you surprised about most about the discussion or the vote or?
I don't believe I was surprised about it. I believe that this was something that was natural at the time, that this was supposed to happen at the time. I believe that it's a most natural thing that was supposed to take place at this time. And the process was, or the key for this presentation was having the council people relate to us, to tell the story, because interestingly, a lot of the elected officials were not there. They had their what are they called? Their second person in line. And so, but what it was involved was to give a history of who we were. Why is it important that we, I don't want to say injustice, but in my eyes, I feel that's the only word that comes to my mind at this moment, is an injustice that was done to us, and why, therefore, we should become the 12th district. And that was what the major message that was presented there was. And I believe that the people there as well knew everything that was discussed, and we may actually go over that presentation today so you guys can see what was pretty much done for those people who may not have an understanding of what were the struggles and why are we becoming a 12th district. And then people who spoke from the audience, that was very powerful. The chairman spoke, and that was very powerful as well. Bob Price spoke as well, and his words were rang very, very strongly there at that meeting as well. And a lot of people did show up. There were probably, I would think, about 30 people who might have shown up who were Hi'a Chairwoman, and I think also seeing them was important for the council to know that we did exist and we are out there. So, but yeah, probably need to go back in there.